Hey all, it's my first setup video. Since I typically have better setups so far with the trucks and Xfinity, especially the trucks. Trucks, I got like 9 full seasons in career in the trucks. That's not at every track, but I love Atlanta. So even when I had a crappy truck, I went to Atlanta and did well, get some money to get to go through career. So I've been racing in Atlanta since like literally day one of the release of NASCAR Heat 4, and I had a good setup in 3. I had a better setup in 3. But they also the 105 quick race settings and the Legend AI settings in career, they upped the speeds. Most of them I found maybe a half second faster. So even if the NASCAR Heat 3 setups would translate directly over, you'd have to find more speed anyway. So you might as well just start from scratch. When you're pretty much at your max at a setup, or you feel that way, it's probably better to start from scratch, and a fresh sheet of paper. Okay, so I'm using the same setup, and I'm just bumping the grill tape up. I could probably do 3, but I just wanted to do this in one shot. And I apologize for the laggy race video. I got a notice that Discord was having an issue at the same time, and this is not an online program I use. And all my other videos are recorded the same way, so I was a little confused why I was getting this, but I realized I had my movie editing program going, which I don't normally do when I record, in race. Finishing up the last video I narrated, and getting that ready to release, or upload, or however you want to call it. But I figured I'd do this first. So I guess in my little, because I'm meaning to do this for a while, and I have been sick and and whatnot, and it's just I just wanted to do it, so I'm up anyway.
Let's see where that puts you.
So here we are. This is a qualifying second. I think it's set for a 17 lap race. I don't have to do 17 laps in the future. But I was dealing with a bunch of other things, doing it for the first time, so I didn't really check that. Should have, but I didn't. When I do setups, I typically run a quick race, and I could usually tell right away, but I want to know. When I do practice before a race, I do 10 lap runs. After 10 laps, you can see certain things. At a short track, 20 laps.
All right, man.
Like a Bristol or Martinsville. Because after 20 laps, you start to see things there, kind of thing. If you do 2 times, that you cut those numbers in half. 2 times wear, 4 times wear, you can cut it down even more, or you can see a full run even quicker and see where your tendencies are and your issues and your good spots and blah 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 blah. So here I am. This is my awesome gearing that I love. Look at that. I'm not looking back because I have to. I'm looking back so you get an idea. It's probably too quick, but I did that off the start too. But you can see on the map already, I pulled out, like 10, 15 car lengths. And that's the first lap. Now, the important thing about this setup is you can hold it wide open, but you won't go any faster. Believe me, I tried. The best way to drive it is drive it all the way to the Atlanta sign. See the Atlanta there? Drive it and let off. You don't have to let off on it. You shouldn't really let off past it. You can let off when it's in sight. It's more of a cumulative thing. You just want to avoid that peak. Same here. I tend to drive it to like that late apex, like where Harvick likes to get his left front below the yellow line there, for maximum speed over there. As the tires wear, I will change my line. Here I'm just going for speed to show you. This is how, if you drive it all out, and you can gain. Look, the 17. You can see it completely on the track map. When I get to the 10 lap mark, I'll show you the interval, and that's typical of the kind of setup I had in relatively in NASCAR Heat 3, or what I call an ace setup. Is after 10 laps, I'm like 3 to 6 seconds ahead. You know, it's like if you got a setup like that, you can be slow the last half of a run. You'll be so far ahead, it's not going to make that much of a difference. But I prefer a setup to be more consistent and drivable, you know, the entire run, and fast the entire run. Somebody has fresh tires, you can't account for that. But, you know, to have 40 lap tires and be the fastest car or truck, that's what I shoot for. You know, I want my setup, if anything, if possible, to get faster relative to the other cars and trucks. And that's, you know, something I determined a long time ago, and it's worked out quite well for me. Not always able to achieve it, but when you can, I mean, here, you can see for yourself. It's pretty cool. Basically, you're driving practice laps at full speed under race conditions, and it might have a tendency to pull, whether it gets a little loose or tight down by the yellow line. So when you get later in a run than this on old tires than this video will show, you want to make sure you're not bouncing the left front off the yellow line. Especially in 3 and 4, it tends to just like a magnet want to pull you in there past halfway. Like right about now. See, I'm driving it a little differently because I really don't want to bounce off the yellow line. But you know, if you're doing a full-length race or even a half-length race where you got a long run, those are some of the things that, you know, will or may crop up. I use a 10 steering, and I like a tight steering. Most drivers use a fairly tight steering. The theory behind it is you don't want to turn the wheel more than a quarter turn. See where my left glove is? Well, it's not my left glove, but the left glove is. Now watch the orange mark at the top of the steering wheel. See? It's not even where the glove was. It's close, but that's about a quarter turn. That's a little less than a quarter turn. I also make my setup so they help you turn in. See, I don't have to turn in until I'm already in the turn. And I like that because to me it helps the chassis transition easier, and you can carry more speed into the turn. And that's why you got to bleed it, which is get off the gas like that. That's bleed it. You know, you don't have to even let off all the way. I do for security because I know I'm so fast compared to the other guys that I don't have to push it. I can push it if I want to. I've raced this setup online in the truck, in the Xfinity car. Slightly different tire temps, I think, is the only difference in the Xfinity car, and shock setups. I think in Xfinity I don't go as radical on the bump shocks, which you know. Here's my speed, 30.358. I hit already. I had hit 30.1. I did get the pole in the current season I'm in the middle of in career. So it is possible, but I didn't do any practice or anything. I just jumped right in and ran this. What I look at is after 10 laps, and what was I, 30.8? Yeah, 30.899. Yeah, that's good, because you're still faster than all the other AI at this point. There's nobody closing in on you. Look, I got what, an eighth of a lap? That's a whole straightaway backstretch, you know, lead. You can't hope for more than that. So basically, whether you like him or you hate him, this is like Kyle Busch running away with the race, you know, kind of thing. And I don't hit the brakes. I don't use the brakes at all. Not necessary at a track like Atlanta unless you're trying to pit or not hit the car in front of you, the truck in front of you. So here we are. There's the back of the field already. It's only 32 trucks in a truck field, so it takes a little longer to catch them. And 17 laps, 4 to go, so 13 laps, and I'm coming up on the end of the field to put them a lap down. So you can do the math. If you get the right brakes, you can probably lap the whole field during the course of a full race, not a shortened race.
Yellow's out. Back
Maybe. Caution. I was gonna pit, but I only put like 1-2 guys down, so no, we'll stay out. Looks like it does on old tires. It's a 2-lap shootout. I got Nascar overtime.
Coming to the green, driver. Almost ready.
And you watch the restart again.
Got a car high now. Top 3, use it if you need it. 2 to go, driver.
Yep, there he goes. Bye-bye. Matt Crafton, the yellow truck. You can clearly see the gap. And that's on old tires. Like that. I'm half second ahead out of turn 2. Only got another lap and a half to go, so let's see what the gap is the first lap on a restart. Oh, and I held it wide open there for a reason. You can do it like the first lap and it doesn't hurt you. 7/10. 7/10 first lap after a restart. That's pretty cool. I like that. So it keeps the pressure off so you can concentrate on driving. You don't have to worry about, avoiding the guy inside or outside. I know, but it's better, isn't it? You can't expect that online, but I've won with this setup online in the truck, in the Xfinity car, and in the Cup car. Cup car is a little different. I've really been working hard to figure out what the right gear is. You change the gear with all of them, it changes what the setup needs a little bit too. Now we're going to run out of time here, but I go back, and I didn't like that it was that tight at the end. If you noticed, it was like 4 or 6 degrees difference, front right to left rear. So I'm thinking, I'll just do it. So I go in there and I change it. Say add another pound. Typically, if it was 2 degrees, I'd only do half a pound. But since it's more than 2 degrees, I don't like making huge setups. I added a full pound. You can take a look at the setup again. Thank you all for coming along. Hope it helps. Keep on rolling.
Awesome.